Hey there, I'm Keith Miller, and I want to talk to you about whether you are the drag-E in your relationship. And what does that mean? Um, well, sometimes we get into these cycles where you feel like you're being dragged to something, like maybe being asked to watch a video like this from a relationship specialist. But seriously, right, these things actually can really hurt in a relationship. Sometimes it's a little tongue-in-cheek, and we think of our partner sometimes being the instigator, the person that prompts us to do things. But then what does that make us, right? We're being prompted. Sometimes we're being dragged to do things. Maybe we're being pushed. So I want to ask you about your role and ask you to consider that. Maybe that's new for you, sometimes just thinking about this idea that you have roles that you play in your relationship. And maybe it flip-flops, maybe different subjects, you might be the one that's pursuing and leading and kind of dragging your partner. And but if you end up in that role, in that position of being dragged, what happens for you, right? I want to ask you to take time and notice what's going on in that sequence, what's happening for you inside of you, and maybe get clear if you can ask, like, what's going on inside? Why am I feeling dragged? Without projecting your feelings towards your partner about them making you feel dragged. That can be a big deal. Just separate, own your own feelings, and ask yourself, what are you afraid would happen if you maybe weren't so dragged, right? That may be a funny way to think about it, but you have control over your own feelings. So try to interact with this part of you that's feeling dragged to do something with your partner. And as you do it, maybe you can get in touch with what that part of you is afraid of, what it might fear would happen if it wasn't being dragged, making you feel so dragged along and pushed around perhaps. Can you speak for the parts of you that maybe the vulnerable side of you that fears what would happen if you maybe showed up more, maybe kind of had more energy and weren't in that dragging role, right? So that's one of the most important things that we try to focus on in this course that I teach. It's a 7-week course called Mindful Marriage, and it's a way for you to have accountability and really get a sense for how common this is, what happens in relationships, these negative cycles that can be so discouraging for us. We feel so much shame and discouragement. But in my 7-week online immersive course, Mindful Marriage, we really just pump all the shame out of it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. This is what we all go through. And you get that experience in the course, but you also get this toolbox full of a curriculum I developed focusing on communication, emotional intelligence, and how to resolve conflict, how to get out of these patterns of like dragger and dragee or pursuer and withdrawer. So I hope you take a look at it. My name is Keith Miller, and I hope this was helpful for you.